In the heart of New Orleans, a city rich with culture and haunted by ancient spirits, lived Amara Johnson. Amara was a bright and determined young woman, well loved in her tight-knit community. Despite being deaf since birth, she had never let her disability define her. Instead, she used her keen senses and sharp mind to navigate the world. One sweltering summer, strange occurrences began to plague her neighborhood. People started disappearing, their bodies found later with expressions of sheer terror, ears bleeding from an unknown cause. Whispers of a demon using sound to kill its victims spread like wildfire through the streets. The community was gripped by fear, but Amara, unaffected by the demon's deadly weapon, knew she had to do something. Amara's grandmother, Mama Lou, a revered voodoo priestess, sensed the malevolent presence. This demon, Sharice, thrives on fear and uses sound as its weapon. But you, my child, you are its antithesis, she signed to Amara. You can hear its silence and feel its vibrations. You are our only hope. Determined to protect her loved ones, Amara began to prepare. Mama Lou crafted a protective charm, embedding it with herbs and ancient symbols. This will shield you from the demon's influence, but you must find its heart and silence it forever. Armed with the charm and her unyielding spirit, Amara ventured into the night. The streets were eerily quiet, an oppressive silence hanging in the air. She moved cautiously, her eyes scanning every shadow, her feet sensing the vibrations in the ground. As she neared the abandoned church at the edge of the neighborhood, she felt a chilling presence. The air grew cold, and she saw the flicker of a dark, menacing figure inside. Steeling herself, Amara entered the church. The demon, Sharice, turned its gaze upon her, surprised and amused by her lack of fear. It screeched, a soundless cry that would have incapacitated anyone else, but Amara stood firm, her grandmother's charm glowing brightly around her neck. She could feel the vibrations of the demon's attack, but remained unaffected. Using her heightened senses, she identified the source of its power, a dark, pulsating crystal embedded in the altar. With swift determination, Amara dodged the demon's attacks, her movements fluid and precise. She reached the altar and with all her strength shattered the crystal with a heavy candlestick. A deafening silence followed as the demon let out a final silent wail before disintegrating into a cloud of smoke. The oppressive atmosphere lifted instantly, and the neighborhood began to awaken from its terror. Amara, exhausted but victorious, returned home to her grandmother's warm embrace. The community hailed her as a hero, and her bravery became a legend whispered through the streets of New Orleans. Amara had not only saved her neighborhood, but had shown that true strength comes from within, regardless of the challenges one faces. In the weeks that followed, life in Amara's neighborhood slowly returned to normal. However, the experience had left a lasting impact on her and the community. People who had once been wary of Amara's silence now saw it as a source of incredible strength. Amara, however, felt a lingering unease. She knew that while the immediate threat had been vanquished, the existence of such malevolent entities posed an ongoing danger. Determined to ensure her community's safety, she decided to delve deeper into the world of the supernatural. Mama Lou, proud yet worried for her granddaughter's newfound resolve, agreed to teach her the ancient ways of protection and defense. The spirits are powerful, but so are you, Amara. With knowledge and courage, you can safeguard our home. Amara's training was rigorous. She learned to craft protective charms, brew potent potions, and harness the energy of natural elements. Her heightened senses became her greatest asset, allowing her to detect disturbances and perceive threats invisible to others. One evening, as she practiced her rituals, she noticed a pattern in the vibrations around her. It was as if the earth itself was trying to communicate. Using the skills she had honed, she interpreted the subtle signals and realized that the demon Sharice was not alone. There were others lurking in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. With a heavy heart but resolute spirit, Amara understood that her fight was far from over. She gathered a small group of trusted friends and neighbors, those who had witnessed her bravery and believed in her cause. Together, they formed a protective circle, each member learning basic charms and defense techniques under Amara's guidance. The community's unity grew stronger as they worked together, preparing for the unknown. Amara and her team patrolled the neighborhood regularly, watching for signs of supernatural activity. Their vigilance paid off when they discovered traces of dark rituals being performed in an abandoned warehouse. Amara knew that they needed to act quickly to prevent another entity from gaining power. She led her team into the warehouse, where they found evidence of summoning spells and dark artifacts. As they disrupted the ritual, they were confronted by a shadowy figure, another demon drawn by the previous one's demise. This demon, known as Astaroth, was even more sinister than Sharice. It thrived on chaos and fed off the fear of the community. Unlike Sharice, Astaroth had physical strength and could manipulate the environment to its advantage. The battle that ensued was fierce, with Amara and her team using everything they had learned to fend off the demon's attacks. Amara's calm under pressure and ability to strategize were crucial. She directed her friends to form a protective barrier using the charms and spells they had practiced. Amara herself faced Astaroth, using her unique ability to sense vibrations to anticipate its moves. With a decisive strike, she banished Astaroth back to the Shadow Realm, ensuring the neighborhood's safety once more. As dawn broke, the exhausted but victorious group emerged from the warehouse. The community, having sensed the struggle, gathered to celebrate their defenders. Amara's leadership had transformed her from a silent observer to a revered protector. In the years that followed, Amara's neighborhood became known not just for its vibrant culture, but also for its resilient spirit. Tales of Amara's bravery spread, inspiring others to stand against the darkness. She continued her training, always prepared for the next challenge, knowing that as long as she and her community stood united, they could face any threat that came their way.